Hey, Joan here again. Welcome back to another of my vlogs. Thank you to everybody who watched the last one. This time I'm going to do something slightly different. I've decided to make vlogs about what it's like living with visual impairment. I've received many questions over the years about what that's like, so yeah, just going to answer some of those. One of the common ones I get is, have I always been visually impaired? And the answer there is no. I was able to see for 9 years, and while I could see, I was very interested in art. In fact, I was quite gifted. Was very interested in people like Da Vinci, Van Gogh, yeah, a lot of other artists actually. I was also interested in science and nature. I used to collect spiders actually. Why I'm bringing this up is it meant that because I was looking at a lot of stuff and paying attention to things, I've got quite a good visual memory, and that has served me quite well actually. It means I am able to some extent understand a lot of things that otherwise I wouldn't when things are being talked about. I'm able to not necessarily know exactly what they're going to look like, but if somebody talks about the Mona Lisa or whatever, I'm going to be know what that looks like, for example. People also ask how I lost my sight. Look, truth is, I could do an entire vlog series on that if I so wished, which I don't, but I'll go over that in greater detail in the future. But the fact is, I had an accident. I refuse to just define myself as having been a victim of one, but yeah, an event occurred, the result of which is that I lost my sight, and that changed the course of my life quite a lot. I'm then asked by people who've brought that up how hard it was to adjust, and look, I think the average is for most people who've lost their sight 6 months usually to get used to their new condition. It was slightly longer for me for a couple of reasons: age and having to move from Tasmania to Victoria due to lack of services at the time. But I did get used to it clearly, and had I not done, obviously things would be quite different. People obviously want to know how blind I am, which is a really good question, because what blind is sometimes hard to define. There's totally blind, legally blind, etc. This can be light-dark perception, 2200 vision, unable to see at all. In my case, it's the last. I have zero visual input, and there's pros and cons to that. And I'd like to think more pros, but I guess again I've not lived any other way. So you'd have to speak to people with other levels of vision to get their perspective on that. And I had a question posted on my Facebook last night, and thanks to Angela for that, which is, does going blind heighten your senses? Look, for me, no. I also did go half deaf as a result of the accident I mentioned. It also did, because of the way everything happens, affect my olfactory. So to directly address what you brought up, Angela, no, I don't have massively heightened ability to notice cologne and scent and so on. There are some people who say that they do have heightened sense of touch, hearing, smell, taste, etc. I do have this strange thing where there are some times I'm out and about and I can notice that there's some object ahead of me before I come into contact with it, even if it's just like a pillar that's not making noise. And I can't explain how that works at all. But no, I don't have heightened senses, though again, it's different experiences for different blind people, blind and visually impaired people. So, yeah, I hope that explains some of the questions I commonly get asked. I'll deal with some others in future vlogs. But, you know, I just want to say as well, I'm not making this to get pity. I'm doing this to try to inform people. I think you know, dialogue and conversation is the best way for people to, you know, understand stuff and to resolve problems that exist. You know, being informed is really good for people, in my experience anyway. So if you see me out and about, or you know, you're in contact with me online, please don't ever hesitate to ask me questions. If you've liked this, you know, please tell people about it, share, etc. And thank you for watching.